Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome back to the narrative Telling It Like It Is. We have with ourselves Brother Abdullah al-Andalusi from the Muslim Debate Initiative. So we're going to be basically talking about navigating the social political environment of the UK from a Muslim's perspective. So let's get straight to the first question, which is how do we go about understanding this environment? And how would a Muslim look at it from his lens or his paradigm?
Well, I think the best way for Muslims to understand the environment is I know it's very common to say engage with the wider community or engage with society, but what I mean, I'm going to break that down. What I mean by that is not just reading newspapers and not just reading blogs or reading what other people say, but also to understand a bit more about the DNA of the West. So that would be, for example, reading their books on philosophy, how they justify something or how they don't justify something. What is their criteria for what they view as good and what they view as bad? In order to understand them, you really have to engage with their culture, see what is culturally going on. You always have to dig deeper, and the common people, or generally speaking, are mostly focused on their own lives, and they don't dig deeper, and we rely on media or political pundits or political analysts to tell us what the objectives are of a lot of these things happening around us. But these analyses are coloured and skewed by whatever there is, the prejudices and bias and worldview of the political analyst making that discourse. So if you really want to understand the West in what it is, you have to study all the phenomena in the West.
Okay, so taking it from there and moving on from there, you've taken it on to the Muslim Debate Initiative, which has become a platform whereby you can give voice to a lot of Islamic ideas and thoughts. How can people then, maybe following in your footsteps or going on from there, take those ideas forward and take them onto another platform? Where would they go from there?
Well, we can all do it on different levels, and I started somewhere. I started just sometimes talking on chat forums or speaking to people at work or colleagues at my university who had particular opinions of atheist or Christian or Jewish or Hindu. Just engaging with people, speaking to people, finding out their justifications for why they believe what they believe, how they understand the world. I think there is a Turkish saying which I very much agree with, which is listen 100 times, think 1,000 times, and speak once. So most of our engagement actually is listening to others. But I'd also say that we have to understand Islam to a good degree as well, to be solidly founded on it. And the thing is this, obviously you can never say that's it, I've reached a point where I know everything about Islam. Obviously that can never, you will spend the rest of your lives on trying to understand the hikmah, the wisdoms of Islam. But what I'm saying is that it must be an ongoing process, and you must be committed to it, and you must delve deeper into, again, Islamic scholarship, Islamic thinkers from the classical period. The Sharia law, how does it actually work? What is the wisdoms behind it? We have to actually dig deeper in our own religion rather than just rely on, again, just superficial explanations presented to us. So really, all I'm really saying to people is that you should dig deeper. But in terms of how you take ideas forward, there are a myriad of platforms available to us to do so on every different level. So if you want to set up a blog, then set up a blog. If you want to post something on your social media, then you can do that. If you want to make leaflets and distribute them around your local community, provided they have wisdom in how they're written and are inviting, then do so, or engage on a one-to-one, or engage online on a one-to-one, and work your way up. Go to a place called Speaker's Corner, maybe in London, where you can meet people with different ideas, or make your own in your local area. There are so many things that you can do. You don't have to just confine it to just, let's say, public debates. Public debates is just only one small niche of social engagement and intellectual engagement that we can utilize.
Okay. So let's focus on that. I mean, there are many options out there, as you've explained, but if just focusing on, for example, your niche that you're following, which is the Muslim Debate Initiative, how effective do you think has been, from your expectations starting it and where you are now, how effective has it been, and what are some of the pros and cons you found with that approach?
Well, the work of the Muslim Debate Initiative involves lectures and debates, and the benefits of it is that we could say with some confidence we've opened up both Islam and non-Islamic beliefs to critique, discourse, debate, and we believe strengthen the understanding of Islam by showing people how it stands up to critique and how it can respond to critique, and actually how Islam actually has something to say about other ways of life, which actually might be for non-Muslims something that can change their worldview and radically change how they view the world. We have solutions to problems which they've found they can't solve. So now that's to a certain extent. But the limitations is, of course, that our niche is that we specialize in public debates. We don't do, say, grassroots work, and we don't do dawah stalls, and that's done by many other Muslim organizations. But I think how Muslim Debate Initiative views itself is it works within a greater whole, which is the Muslim community, and collectively speaking, all of us together, all these different organizations that focus on different things. Some focus on charity, some focus on uplifting spiritual activities or admonitions for the Muslim community. Others focus on feeding the homeless or grassroots dawah, giving leaflets out or doing certain dawah events. We all collectively work together, and obviously you can't. MDI is not it can't offer a comprehensive kind of movement for the dawah. It only kind of is a cog in a bigger machine, and we try to kind of mindful of that. We try to give as much benefit as we can to the Muslim community.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges which are faced by the Muslim community, and one of them is secular liberalism, with many of the events which have been happening very recently. What would you have to say in regards to how we can go about countering this issue?
Well, we live in a world which has been dominated by a civilization which obviously espouses secular liberalism. And many Muslims have been forced to justify or defend their rights on the basis of secular liberalism, which is a double-edged sword, because what secular liberalism, what it gives you, it can also affect you negatively, or affect the Islam's interests negatively, based on what it doesn't consider to be taboo, and what it actually, and sometimes what it demands. So what we don't consider to be taboo. So, for example, let's say they have a problem with polygamy, for example. They have a problem with gender segregation, even though, okay, not every Muslim would believe in these particular ideas, but they are intolerant on these points, even though in their own civilization they have many instances where they do engage in gender segregation, and we get the impression that they want Muslims to do things on their basis, justifying it on their basis, not on our own basis, and they view that as something which is dangerous or is a threat to their values. So, I mean, for example, the cartoons against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they want us not only to say that we're not offended by it, but in some cases they want us even to join in a retweet or say "Je suis Charlie" as well, to chime in. So these are the kind of the issues we face, and many Muslims who are so desperate to show Islam in a good light run towards secular liberalism and try to show from secular liberalism how Islam is consistent with secular liberalism, when those two pieces just don't fit together. But the issue, what they miss out, is there's a lot of problems within secular liberalism, a lot of problems within domestic policies in the West, with its foreign policies in the West, which all emanate from the secular liberal discourse. And instead of actually being apologetic and defensive and using secular liberal basis to justify ourselves, in fact, we should be arguing with in a way that's better, from a superior moral advantage point, which is Islam actually has better ideas of justice. it can create better justice. Historically speaking, it has a proven track record, and secular liberalism has a proven track record of actually being intolerant, of justifying terrorism, of justifying forced coercion of its minorities, and of causing capitalism, causing wealth disparities, which is the economic system of secular liberalism. It has a lot of problems. We shouldn't be trying to imitate it just because the civilization behind it has superior military force, or currently superior technology, even though China is catching up, and China is not secular liberal by any definition. So I would say that we have to be confident, we have to understand secular liberalism, we have to understand Islam, and we have to confidently champion Islam and subject secular liberalism to critique. It's the secular liberalism that has to justify itself to us, not the other way around.
So, rounding up, what can we see in the future from the Muslim Debate Initiative? What can we look forward to seeing in the next maybe few months, a few years, inshallah?
Well, I mean, the Muslim Debate Initiative will just keep doing what it has been doing. We have some new bloods coming in, some new speakers, people who specialize in different topics. We want to expand into different areas. So, for example, we want to discuss Israel and Zionism and the Palestine issue, which we haven't previously debated. We want to discuss controversial topics which Muslims find difficult to engage with, but have been thrust upon us.
Jazakallah khair. We look forward to seeing that, inshallah. But that's all we have time for today. Jazakallah khair for your time, Abdullah.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have time for today. Please subscribe, like the video, do share it out as well. And if you want to get involved in the discussions as well, do comment as well. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.